Item number.
Good afternoon,
Oh,
everyone.
that's the wrong one.
My name is Dr. Miller,
That's
and the
SCP
SCP
or
we're going to be looking
orientation.
at today is SCP-2102. Object Class: Euclid.
Euclid.
Special Containment Procedures.
L-type
SCP-2102 is to be housed at Site-122 in an L-type humanoid anomaly containment cell, HACC for short. This is to be modified to minimize the probability of injury to SCP-2102. SCP-2102 is to remain fully restrained at all times,
Oh,
with its hands and feet encased within padded sleeves.
I did not. I was reading this because I try to read ahead of the guy reading. And I did not see this thing with his teeth. Just opened to look over, I was like, oh shit. Like, I didn't see the teeth. I was looking at this shit look like mercury on his body. Then I looked, I was like, oh shit. Anytime I see things with like needle teeth like that, it's like, oh, these things eat people. I know
to
it.
avoid accidental or intentional lacerations of its epidermis. SCP-2102 is to be considered a permanent Class Alpha Red security risk in light of its suicidal tendencies.
Oh, it kills itself.
In case of an unbounded ectoentropic reaction, UER for short, all on-site personnel not specifically attached to this project are to be evacuated, and 3 members of security staff with at least L2-2102 clearance are to enter SCP-2102's cell to initiate its breach protocol. See 2102 PRT Breach 14 AV 1.2 for more information. Following the incident, SCP-2102 is to be treated by attached Level 3 medical staff for any burns sustained during the incident. Excess tissue is to be excised, and the resulting wounds are to be cauterized immediately. This is currently the only reliable way to reduce the amount of tissue generated. Excised tissue is to be destroyed as per the standard biohazard disposal protocol. If its breach protocol fails, all Site-122 personnel with Level 3 security clearance have been provided with the passkey to this project's kill switch. This can be activated remotely, and doing so will trigger the dispersal of a dicyanoacetylene gas and powdered fluoridated aluminum within SCP-2002's containment cell. This mixture will be ignited automatically after a 3-second delay. If the kill switch is not successful in deactivating SCP-2102, no further provisions have been made.
It's like, we are fucked.
Description:
That don't work.
SCP-2102 is an unidentified male of indeterminate age and descent. SCP-2102 measures approximately 178 centimeters in length and weighs an estimated 48 kilograms. 100% of SCP-2102's body is covered in hypertrophic scars as a result of the application of its breach protocol in order to halt past UER-2002 events. Due to this scarification, SCP-2102 is deaf, mute, and blind, and cannot be interviewed. All data on SCP-2102 was gathered from testing and from surviving GRU Division P documentation. SCP-2102's anomalous properties manifest when it suffers a puncture wound or laceration, initiating an anomalous wound healing process designated a UER-2102 event. This process is instantaneous, and though both hemostatic and inflammatory phases occur as normal, the proliferative phase of the process occurs at a greatly increased rate, and no wound contraction occurs. During a UER-2102 event, SCP-2102 will continue to produce new tissue at an exponential rate, unless all open wounds are successfully cauterized. Based on this, it is estimated that the culmination of an NK-class scenario would occur approximately 4 weeks post-event, should full neutralization not be achieved. Tissue generated during UER-2102 events—
From what it sounds like I'm gathering here, that if it doesn't heal from a certain wound, that it will keep generating tissue, and I'm assuming like the mass will get bigger and bigger until it just engulfs the earth. That's the I might be maybe we're gonna explain it further.
Will expand into any available
Just let him
open
talk.
space.
Just let him talk.
Obstructions are able to delay the expansion, but as more tissue is generated, it will exert a mounting pressure on materials. Currently, there is no upper limit to the MPa SCP-2102 is able to generate. Blunt force trauma that does not break SCP-2102's epidermis will not induce its anomalous properties, and the application of intense heat will cauterize any open lacerations, halting SCP-2102's anomalous wound healing. Tests have also indicated that SCP-2102's anomalous properties would in all probability not persist if all soft tissues were destroyed. Addendum 2102-A1. Notes on recovery and preliminary containment. SCP-2102 was recovered from the grounds of the Institute of Experimental Medicine, CSAV, in Czechoslovakia on 12/2/1972. Foundation agents embedded in the Czechoslovakian government had been aware of the
Man, these people
existence
are
of a
everywhere.
GRU Division P project housed on the grounds of the institute, since earlier that year, and intelligence reports indicated its focus to be on the development of practical applications for rapid cellular regeneration. Following the successful appropriation of classified documentation detailing SCP-2102 and its anomalous properties, a recovery operation was planned for January 1973. On 12/02/1972, at 7:14 UTC GMT, a disturbance was reported at the Institute of Experimental Medicine, CSAV, and a large number of civilians were seen fleeing the premises. A small Foundation reconnaissance force, comprised of members from several mobile task forces stationed in Eastern Europe, was immediately dispatched to take stock of the situation before recovery was initiated. Preliminary containment was effected at 23:01 UTC GMT on 12/02/1972, permanent containment on 12/13/1972. Addendum 2102-A2. Excerpts from Reconnaissance Log 2102, OP Rec 721202.
Merrick, what is your location?
On the grounds nearing the entrance to the bunker. Looks like it's wide open. No hostiles in sight.
Copy that. You're cleared for approach. Good luck.
Moving in. The smell is off here. Can't put my finger on it. Jones, stop bumble fucking and watch that left hallway.
Bumble fucking. I've never
Mostly
heard that.
labs and offices. Found what looks like a break room a while back. Most of the files are gone and what they left doesn't look important. Just paperwork on shipments, food supplies, standard logistical stuff.
Take it anyway. Let IA figure it out. Any sign of the anomaly yet?
Roger, will do. No sign of the anomaly so far, but it might be on -2 or lower. Ashton, start grabbing every scrap of paper you can see.
Keep your eyes peeled, Merrick.
Copy that, Commander. Almost done on -1. Still no sign of the anomaly. Smells getting worse, though.
You're getting closer.
To the lower levels. We'll keep you posted.
We copy, Merrick. Proceed with caution.
Always. Jones, Ashton.
Always.
I want you to secure... Wait. Command.
Fuck with
Any
that.
seismic activity in this area?
Not that we know of, Merrick. Why?
I think I just felt something move down here. Come in.
I just read multiple
Elevator's
screens.
stuck. We
Metal
went down maybe
walking
about a
team.
foot before we hit something. No idea what... What's that sound?
Come in, Merrick. What is your status?
It's something... Something's going through. Try those doors open. I don't know what to do, just shoot it.
Come in, Merrick.
Command, we managed to open the doors and climb out. We've got an unknown amorphous mass coming up from the lower levels. Recommend immediate countermeasures.
Copy that, Merrick. We have 2 F4s on standby. They'll be with you in approximately 7 minutes. Can you hold out?
I have no fucking clue. Command, right now we're trying every trick in the book.
I don't
but
fucking
every time
know.
we damage it, it seems to grow more rapidly.
Well, stop shooting it.
See what a couple lemons do to that thing. Command, I hope those birds you're sending have something on board that'll stick, because
I like how he's a. It seems like the damage we're doing to it is only making it grow. Like he observed that and is able to see that. And like, oh, I'm assuming lemons means grenades. It's like just throw that. I mean, I guess in that situation, what are you gonna do? It's like when people talk about like, why do you keep like in like any type of alien movie or whatever superhero movie when someone is shooting at something and it's clearly having no effect, like why you keep shooting it? It's like I don't have any other like what am I supposed to do? Put my gun down and punch it? Like it's like this is all I got. But I mean, if I was them, I would probably just run because they were able to get out of the elevator. So. All right, I'm waiting on a package to come, so and I don't want it outside lingering for too long.
nothing we're carrying seems to be stopping this thing.
Don't worry, the guys in
Oh,
IA
run.
said they know how to deal with this. Get your team out of there,
Yes,
Merrick.
just
Copy
run.
that. We're out of here.
Status, Merrick.
We're okay, but this thing just exploded through the topsoil and it's still growing. Those birds better get here fast.
ETA approximately 6 minutes. How fast is it moving?
Jones, get out of there!
Merrick, what's
That's
going
pretty
on?
fast, I guess.
We lost Jones. He just got sucked under that thing. I have no idea what its speed is, and I don't care. Get those birds here.
Don't. Dang, this thing is growing awfully fast. You can't even
At
outrun it.
1422 UTC GMT, two F-4 Phantoms dropped their payload of M47A1 napalm incendiary bombs, successfully cauterizing the tissue generated by SCP-2102 during its UER-2102 event in progress. Addendum 2102A3.
Well, I guess that it said burn
Translated
it off.
excerpts from captured GRU Division P documentation. The following selected diary entries were found amongst paperwork recovered from the Institute of Experimental Medicine, CSAV. Their author could not definitively be determined. Date: 2nd of March, 1972. Finally arrived. I swear, the Tupolev was shaking more than the BMP I rode in during my service. The equipment crates were already there and mostly intact, though two Chambers and a Rontgen got mashed a bit on the train, and the mainframe looks rather unwell too. I met with the local staff I kept hearing such things about. Comrade Director Chanyi, their head of research, has some genuinely compelling ideas about test subject suitability index based on basal metabolic rate, the Minsk experiments, and a couple other things, though that might have been the result of his Barak Palinka. Date: 3rd of March, 1972. Turns out our and their three-phase plugs are somewhat different. I have a headache. Date: 5th of March,
Okay.
1972. Good news. Me, Mikhail, Kuzma, and their technician Prazdanovsky managed to swap the leads on everything and fix up the broken kit with the spares he managed to dig out from somewhere. All of it works too. Bad news. As soon as we plugged in all of it for a test run, the fuses blew and we knocked out the power from half the institute. I would have thought they prepared things to our specification. Ugly news. Looking through their fusing diagrams, it took 3 of us half the day to sort it out. Whoever drew these up should be scrubbing the cellars of the Lubyanka. At least we will have time to go sightseeing. There's a pretty amazing castle ruin nearby, and since Comrade Orovkova's sister works there, we can go for a private tour. Still, the project stagnating for reasons this stupid leaves a bitter aftertaste. Date: 19th of April, 1972. It took a couple chats with the ONV board, the Institute's director, and one angry call to Moscow. But we had the power grid strengthened in record time. Take that, Watley and Weber. In other news, they brought in a couple promising candidates today. Not ideal by far, but we'll have to work with what we have. Soon, we will see if the theories are correct. P.S. The trip was a blast. Got Marushka a scarf she'll love too. And what's better, entire stock equals about a kilo of chewing gums. All it took was a roll of rubles to the shopkeeper. Date: 5th of May, 1972. The first subject looked promising at first. When we introduced trauma, rapid clotting took place as expected, but the process aborted soon enough, and lesions developed. Turns out, Mikhail mixed in far too much neodymium, the oaf. I swear this is the last straw. I told him if he fucks up again, I will drag his ass to Moscow by his collar. Date, 28th of June, 1972. Why do they keep dying? It doesn't make sense. Reducing the amount of neodymium actually made the necrosis worse. I cannot tell Mikhail that, or I will be hearing it for the rest of my life. Date, 3rd of August, 1972. The cultivation is done, and Elena, Dr. Elena Orovkova, current whereabouts, unknown, had a look at the histology. The results are interesting, almost like an equilibrium of sorts. The cells divide 50 times faster than in control samples, but they die off almost immediately too, until the whole thing chokes on its waste, so to say. It's not pretty. It seems that to make this work, we need to shift that balance somehow. Date, 15th of August, 1972. So we got another candidate, the 16th since the start of the project. I had gone to Slizzard, Dr. Slizzard Chanye, see documentation on Operation Redemption, and told him we really needed someone more resilient than normal people. The ministry came through from what we heard. We got ourselves a counter-revolutionary who spent 15 years in a uranium mine as punishment detail, and somehow came out fine. Sure enough, histology results pointed his cells pulling a Koshchi the Deathless, and his natural regeneration is about twice as fast as your average man, too. Who knows? This might be the one. Date, 5th of September, 1972. Preliminary results looking good. The wound healing process does not abort anymore, though perhaps it is completing a bit too rapidly. I cannot believe I just wrote that. I wonder if we can redefine the process and perhaps even make it permanent. It was not our original goal, but if we manage this. Date, 24th of September, 1972. I'm finding it increasingly difficult to sleep. X16 is not like the others. He's not weak. The others never lasted for more than one cycle, but X16 has been lacerated so many times now, and each time he survives. Today he somehow freed himself from the restraints and attempted to slit his wrists. I should be happy, because it means the effect now lasts several hours longer than we expected, but I cannot help but feel bad for him. I need some time off. Maybe Slizzard will let me go see Marushka. Date, 15th of October, 1972.
Marushka.
Finally, we have found the right composition. It turns out we needed a little more of that stabilizing agent Jurage introduced a few weeks ago. It was staring us in the face all this time. Subject X16 is responding well, in the medical sense at least. He is as uncooperative as ever. It doesn't matter. It will be done and over soon. Another little step towards our victory. When you think of it, the man is a hero, and he doesn't even know
They're
it.
just trying to figure out a way to enable
November,
rapid healing.
1972.
That has started.
Elena showed up in my section of the lab just as I was preparing another batch of the serum. She looked distraught and practically dragged me off by the sleeve. Good reason, too. Long story short, the samples seemed to be gaining mass from nowhere. She thought it was a measurement error, but I got the same after spending the day calibrating the machines. I'm very worried. I got into an argument with Slizzard and Jurage. They say it's bound to be an error and want to press on, while I and Elena want to look deeper into what the hell is happening. Date, 26th of November, 1972. There is a pattern to the increases in mass and all over, and it's not just X16 now. I feel the answer is at my grasp. I had it all worked out yesterday, but I woke up at my desk soon after. I really need more sleep. And Marushka, I miss her, but Slizzard is not about to let me go. Date, 27th of November, 1972. We were ordered to stop working on sample analysis and focus on empirical tuning of the composition. Me and Elena appear to be the only ones with an ounce of common sense here. Just a few days more. Date,
Super
2nd of
soldiers.
December,
They're trying to make super
1972.
soldiers.
It's far too early to be up, but I cannot sleep. Today is the day we either produce the very first super soldier or we start over with nothing. I really do not know which is better. Tomorrow is a day too. There are no later entries in the diary.
Because they're all dead.
This concludes today's lecture. Thank you for listening, if indeed you still are, and you are all dismissed. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Ooh, okay, that's interesting. I don't know. At first, I was just like, he was talking. I was like, "What the fuck is he talking about?" And then I start paying more attention. I was like, "Oh, okay." So they're basically trying to make a super soldier. They're dealing with the increased healing factor, but they fucked up. Caused the thing to when it, if I remember correctly, when it can't heal from a wound, it will keep producing flesh, I guess, onto itself and just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And there's no limit as far as they can see. The only way to stop it is to cauterize it and then burn off all the flesh, I guess, going back to its previous state. But this thing, like, this thing was growing and moving so fast they couldn't even outrun it. He's like, the guy got sucked underneath it. It reminds me of the Blob. Anyone seen that movie? I was thinking about doing a reaction to that. Well, I've been thinking about doing a reaction to it whenever I get around to reacting to movies again. But not the. I think there is a remake, not the one from the 50s or the 60s, but the one from the 80s, where the thing was just rolling and just rolled over people and it absorbed. Well, basically, it didn't, I guess it kind of absorbed it, but it was basically like acidic. Like when it touched, it would melt you, like digest you into itself, and it would just like roll over people. You could just see it just rolling, like moving and just like steamroll over people. It reminds me of that, but I guess just not doing it just crushes you. And the only way to stop it is that is crazy. Like it just keeps growing. And he said it can potentially cause like a K-class event, which is basically to destroy the earth, all humanity, because if this thing can just keep growing, and if you don't stop it soon enough, if it was too big for that napalm to do anything, you would have to hit that thing with like a nuke or something, to even like stop it well, at least, and that might not even work. Depends, I guess, how big it is. If it gets as big as a like let's say it got so big and it seems to grow extremely fast. Let's say it was in Australia and it was able to engulf that entire continent before they could, get the whistle out to everybody what the issue is. And I feel like, and then it starts going and spreading in the water and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But it's still, relatively the size of Australia. Like, would a nuke stop it at that point? Like, you dropped a nuke on it. Like, I don't know. Guess it would depend on the yield. But, what was that nuke Russia made? It was like the Tsar or something, like the most powerful nuke drone. That might be a bit excessive for that. Like maybe if it was like in Russia and all of Russia had been consumed, maybe then. But that would just crush everything too. Because then it also say like it can, like its weight seems to be have no upper limit. So it just I guess if its mass does it, then the weight is gonna equal that mass. So it's like this thing is the size of a building. It's gonna probably weigh somewhere around there, the same size of that building. It's the exact same size of a building, like an 8-story building. It's gonna be similar weight to that building. But that is horrible. Just being like, I'm not claustrophobic or anything, but well, in certain circumstances, I I would they to think being like crushed or stuck. Like I've seen when like cave divers be going in caves, and I've seen them like shoot videos, and they get in these tight spaces where they have to take off. Wipe my eyes off before I started. They should they uh they have to take their equipment off in order to get through. And then you see, I seen them do that. I said, I couldn't do it. One thing, I mean, I don't know how to swim, so I can swim, but like dog pedal, I can swim a little bit. But you're talking about diving deep in a cave somewhere, like I wouldn't go deep sea diving. That's probably what my swimming limits are. Like I can, if I fall in the water, I can swim. The shore or something like that, if need be. And it depends on how far out I am. But you're talking about, we're gonna go deep sea diving and stuff like. Nah. Anytime I'm in a place where I can't see the bottom, I don't want to go. Like I couldn't go into space because it's the further. Well, I could go into space, but I couldn't go past the moon. Like, because the further away we get from the Earth, and then you just have, and then of course you're far away from other planets too, and it's just a sea of darkness. I mean, you could see like of course the stars and stuff like that, but they're far away, and there's nothing close. That's what I'm talking about. It's nothing like you can look at and say, okay, this is almost like scaling. Like you can, like they do in video games where they have birds to show size, and they next to buildings or whatever to display size, and it's like it's nothing out there like that. So you're just out there, and I I couldn't. It's like, and it's just like water. Like when I've been out on a boat out in the ocean before where I put I put they would people would jump in the water. I was like, I'm not jumping in the water, but I wanted to look into the water, so I put one of those goggles on. I just stuck my head, held my breath, and stuck my head down, and it was just of course it only went down. The sun could go so far, and it was just like that made me not want to go even more because it's like I can't see the bottom, can't see anything. Something could easily just come up and just take me. And I don't know what it is. Like I'm not gonna go crazy like this, the Kraken or some shit, but a shark. Usually you probably see those because but some sharks do come up from underneath you to attack like they do with seals and stuff. And in this, like, anyway, I got off on something. But yeah, I was just curious. I was curious about like, how would that work? Like, if this thing got so big, like, how would you stop it? Because you gotta, the burning it works, but like, what would? Because at the same time, you don't want to, like, because a nuclear weapon is you can't come back from that. I mean, you're going to irradiate an area for thousands of years. And then now you could say, is that worth irradiating pretty much all of Australia to stop this thing from engulfing Earth and killing everybody? Australians, well, I guess Australians be all dead, so they won't have anything to say. But that would be crazy. Like, you just see this thing just growing and coming up over the horizon, and it's like just it at such a fast pace that you can't outrun it. And it seems like it grows faster the more damage it takes. So it's like if it's growing over things and buildings, and those buildings are like it's hitting those buildings like tearing into it, because it's hitting like hard surface, and it would cause it to grow faster and knock those buildings over, and then explosions are happening because it's rolling over like power plants or nuclear power plants, causing them to go nuclear, or meltdown. And just going over it, like propane, they might explode or something like that, because of the pressure. Or, it just, shit, that would, I would almost rather just get vaporized, like be like World War III or something, or some war where everybody just shoot all their nuclear weapons at each other, and just rather just get hit. Be close enough where I just get vaporized, where it's not like I'm too far, but I'm close enough to get radiation poisoning, so I die slowly. But just close enough to where it's just you might feel some pain maybe for like a second, but it's gone. But anyway, hope y'all enjoyed my reaction one. If you did, make sure to hit that thumbs up button down below. Make sure to subscribe if you're new here. Hit that bell so you'll be notified when I upload new videos. Comment down below. Share this video. I'll see you next time. Peace.